This time on Nightmare Island, I'm going to be exploring the circumference of the island, doing as little combat as possible, and grabbing as many collectibles as possible from as many collectible locations, I suppose. Consumable locations, respawn locations. As many of those as I can find. I was recording this all before work, so I was in a bit of a rush. That's why I was going to avoid combat if possible. I didn't entirely succeed in that, but had I avoided all the combat, if I had just known my way and didn't have to do a lot of exploring, I think I might have been able to make it around the island in a day. I nearly got there, so I will probably, I think, maybe be trying it again. There, of course, has been a patch to the game since I recorded this, so a lot of the things that I'm able to accomplish with the Night V may no longer be possible. That's another good reason to try it a few more times. That, plus the amount of rope and cloth I got, it will make it a good future run, and being, in time exploring the island deeper and deeper, I'll know where more things are when I'm adjacent to them ish on the beach. Another thing I was really looking for was turtles. Didn't find one there. That was just a stupid rock right out in the middle of the road. What was I saying? Turtles, yes. Yeah, like that right there. I don't think I'll be able to do that with the Night V anymore. Possibly. Maybe not. Suppose I'll see. I usually just record gameplay and then edit. I don't play at all between edit sessions. So next time I'm in, I may try that. I have a good amount of logs stored up. I might just do a whole lot of building. Hard telling. I also want to get the key cards so I can explore the bunkers. I believe the chainsaw, which is something I would really like, is in one of those bunkers. This is the first time I had to really divert from my beach course. It wasn't the last time I will have to do that. Looking at this now, the footage, this would be a nifty place for a cliffside base. Frick ton of trees. They can't come at you from behind. You don't really have the defense of the water, but the defensive virtues of the ocean, I'm not sure why, but they do seem to be waning a little bit now that well, not right now, but technically 100 days in. It looked to me like there was some beach down there, but I don't trust it, so I'm gonna Skyrim up these cliffs her. At the time of recording this, I probably could have used the Night V to scale that cliff, but my understanding is that they've taken that ability away from the Night V. I saw a few other YouTubers, Farkit specifically, doing some testing with it. I can't really tell from what I saw what the limitations are. I'm just going to have to test it myself, coming here up on some very obvious beach. So I slowly Night V my way down the cliff face. I don't know why I did it this way. It seems like it might have been faster to just pick up the Night V and scale down it, but whatevs. I was clearly having a good time. Yeah, clearly. So having such a good time that I was afraid I was gonna fall to my death and lose the Night V in deep water. That did not happen, but this guy playing had no idea how it was gonna turn out. Most of these fast forwarding clips where I'm just going fast along the beach, I've sped up by about 600%, if that means anything for anybody. It doesn't really mean anything to me. This was the first really good find of the journey. There were those two totes and those two boats with rope, coins, cloth, and I believe a blazer. I definitely should not have stopped for this guy. What was the point? I lost an arrow. I mean, skin pouch? Yes. Sure, fine. These guys aren't going to drop skin pouches, though. But they're awfully satisfying to murder. Or, it's not so much murder, it's clearly self-defense. I could argue self-defense. Bunch of little boats and dinghies along the beach, especially on this, I think this is the western, yeah, the western side, because my base is on the north, so yeah, this would be the western side, so the western beach. All kinds of, well, really, there's like boats and kayaks all along. This was the first big cannibal camp I came across. Zoomed right through it, didn't want to have anything to do with it. Then I came across these coffins here, just cloth, rope, coins. I actually ran out of room for more. Just hit the microphone. Oops. I ran out of room for rope actually, and had to craft some bone armor to use up some of the rope. I found this weird tree. I thought it might be something. Turned out it was nothing. It's just a weird tree, but I like it, so I kept it in the video. More dinghies, more rope, more coins. Really not. When I was doing it, I felt like I was finding nothing except rope, and I found a lot of rope, to be sure. But now that I'm watching it, the coins, I mean, those are 90% all just for explosives. So those are super handy to have. I wish I had found more circuit boards. I did find some circuit boards. Not yet, but I will have found them. Yeah, another zip. Definitely went out on the peninsula here. I thought there would be something, but there wasn't jack shit. More kayaks. This was a weird one. 2 flares, 1 soda, or energy drink. That's it. That's all those kayaks had. I was shocked that there wasn't more there. It looked so bright and appealing, like it should be filled with all of the treasure, but niet. And then there's these folks, these religious folks, getting a really good suntan. Idiots.
Idiot.
I've surmised in rewatching that this little canoe craft ship thing was obviously the Christians' vessel, and they took as good care of it as they did themselves. Cheers to them. All told, making the necessary subtractions from how long it took me about a little over an hour, I think, to get around the island. You can see here I've gotten to the 2 small islands that are on the eastern side of the bigger island. So I'm over halfway there, I believe. I'm not certain. Can't be bothered to look at a full map. Yeah, so it took me about an hour and a half, and I really think that I can do it in about an hour. I will have to make necessary shortcuts, and I'll know where not to stop. Like that took me like 5 minutes searching around those rocks, and there were some other rocks that I searched around. I certainly didn't have to. That was a nice cannibal camp. I didn't stop because it was clearly going to be Fight Town. Next time, I may just stop and fight. I had this idea earlier today when I was cutting up the footage that I could very easily just set up a tarp and a stick and save before I engage in them, or engage with them. Probably a good idea to do it kind of far. Well, no, not if I'm just saving it. Yeah, it wouldn't be like a respawn situation. Respawn situations are bloody awful. Your backpack is always, unless you're in a cave, it's always right next to a bunch of assholes who are trying to eat you. And this is about where I got for the day. I'm probably, I'm easily less than 15 minutes from my base, probably 5 minutes, as the crow might choose to fly. I could not fly though. I could only save and sleep. This is me going into day 99. Day 99. Lost a stick in the ground. Hate it when that happens. Coming up on my, well, maybe not my greatest task. Ah, turtles. At last. Now I can make more rain catchers. Some fishes out in the water doing funky things that can't be trusted. Couldn't really get a good shot of it, so I've just fast forwarded through it. Yep, this was an almighty blow to my ego and soul. I guess I was just cocky. I can see all. I should not have been carrying the Night V in any water. Not, and then up a cliff face like that. You knob. Eventually I discovered I could just push the Night V quite easily through the water. Well, no, not quite easily. It was a pain in the ass. And I kept not having a good footing to pick the Night V up from. So I would pick it up and it would just fall right back into the water. I did this many times. This spot right here is... well, except for later on in the video, and you'll see why. I don't ever want to have to do it again. Twice is enough. This time I decided to be smart. Go around the sheer cliff and up through the woods. So this is the second major diversion I've had to take. And it goes pretty smoothly, really. I was impressed with my ability to kit through the majority of the forest on the Night V. Yep, there's my base right up there, just getting near home. I kind of underestimated how far away I was, and was a teensy bit surprised when I went through the moose pond. I didn't stick around to see if the moose was around. Seemed like that was a bad idea. I had made a treaty, and that pond belonged to the moose and the cannibals. So I got the hell out, and oh, that's right. Took some time and checked these crates off to the right. Seemed a reasonable thing to do. Find fun things here all the time. Mostly the ammo I wanted to get, but it was only a 9mm. There was no shotgun ammo. A C4 was a good find for sure, though. But base was just across the bay. Easy skip and a jump. Fast forwarding. I believe at around 600. At least that's what the Adobe thing tells me is 600 speed. So that's that. Got around the island on the Night V. Found a bunch of random stuff. So I filled up my shelves as best I could see. They're terribly organized, but yeah, I don't know if I'm really gonna organize these ones down here anymore. I have thought maybe I'll put a few more shelves upstairs for more specific things. Look at these assholes. There's about a dozen of them, maybe 9. But I was way more interested in why my door was stuck, like an idiot.
Idiot.
Which I never figured out why it was stuck like that. I suspect it was Virginia's fault. Maybe Kelvin. I couldn't believe how far this guy had gone in. And I thought surely that is the absolute limit of how far he would come in, or they would come in. Then this guy, right behind him. I got a few good hits in, but then I just started being cocky. My timing was bad. I was down all of my armor in almost no time. Got flanked and absolutely wrecked. One hit there, boom, boom, and I'm down. Did I take more damage because I was on the ground? I wonder. Wouldn't that be a bitch? So, a few things I did wrong here. It's wonderful that I was respawning off the coast. Great, stupendous. Blazer looks great. Problem is, my backpack is there where that exclamation mark is. I didn't think I'd be able to get to it with all of those guys. Look at that guy in there. He's very important. But I didn't think I'd be able to get to it. I thought maybe I could just grab some armor, somehow put it on, but that didn't work, and all of a sudden from behind me, I knew what had happened before I even looked. That son of a bitch broke the middle of my base. And I had a choice. I could either go with it or reload. And I reloaded. I didn't reload in the most optimal of spots, but it was, well over halfway home. It could have been, it was really the only place I saved. I decided to cut off what I thought would cut off the cliff that I fell into. I was wrong, but I did find the golf course. Don't care for it. Not much here that I could find anyways. I was kind of making a straight path and not exploring too much. Really wanted to get home and save. Back to base. And then, like an idiot,
You're an idiot.
I came up on the same damn cliff and didn't go around it. I was like, nah. I'll just go over it from this side. I know what I'm doing. Derp. Up the rock I go. And then blap. Dumbass. But I knew what I was doing this time, and it only took me 7 minutes instead of 20 to 30 minutes. Back, night V down, I saved that shit. I really expected the puffies to show up again. So I went out, looked around for a few seconds, went up to the top of my trailer, and just watched. I think I stepped away and had a smoke, came back, and there was still no puffies out there. I kind of feel like they might have been a glitch of some kind. I took a little time and put the things back on my shelves that I had lost from having had put on my shelves when my base was destroyed and I reloaded. Boy, the tenses there were tricky. And I was eager to get into some chopping. But before that happened, I think some jerks showed up. Or they're gonna show up shortly. What's going on here? Oh yeah, there they are, coming down the hill. But first I've spotted this dickhead over here by himself. I wish I had legitimately snuck up behind him, just so I could have seen if I did more damage. I'm not real happy that took 3 solid swings. I must be near, like, strength level 30. I really wish strength affected how much damage you did. I don't think it does. I was gonna try and throw this guy at this other guy, Mario style. It didn't do anything. But old Big Billy thought it was pretty neat, so he picked it up. Pretty cool. Way he's holding him. Then I shot him in the neck. Jackass. After the incident with the puffies, I wasn't taking any prisoners. I was going to try and kill them all. I'm suspicious now, looking at the footage. I think I may have actually let a few get away. But I took what I took, I made a big pile, and I set it on fire. I was going to make some bone armor. Mind, I have a good deal of bones already in store, but for the production I wanted to do, it was going to take quite a few more, or at least I wanted more regardless to make up for things, but that sound told me before I even looked. The damn bones had glitched through into the water, through the game. This is such an obnoxious bug. It keeps coming up. I've seen Kelvin walk over logs and knock them into the water. I suspect I have walked over logs and knocked them into the water. I've seen cannibals do it. Sticks all the time whenever I take them off of one of my tarps. Super duper obnoxious. But really, it doesn't break the game. It's a nuisance at worst, I think. I started an experiment. I wanted to see if I could keep Kelvin happy, I guess, by having him just build things. So I set up a watchtower, which I thought might be semi-useful for reasons in that spot. And I sent old Kel to work. It goes up pretty well. I don't think will be finished by the end of this video, but it does go up pretty fast now that Kelvin's carrying 2 logs at a time. So that'll be exciting. Once it's built, I might just detonate it if it doesn't have an immediate use or if it's in the way of a zip line for logging. I might just build a number of watchtowers for no particular reason at all. Maybe to give the enemies something else to attack other than my base. See how that goes. I mean, if the trees started regrowing, I would totally do it because trees would be a renewable resource. Right now, they're just one that keeps becoming harder and harder to get. I love the bounce on this tree. Awesome. I knew I did a good bit of logging, but now rewatching the footage, I'm damn impressed with how many friggin' trees I cut down. And then these people showed up. I guess they hadn't heard.
I am the law!
You are out of order. Or something like that. But I murdered them. And this guy, but bullshit, I don't know how he got that hit. His back was to me, and I had just come off on a swing. Babies falling out the sky. Whole battle's fucked. I chased this guy. I honestly don't remember how far I chased him, but when he got those hits off right there, his death was sealed. I wasn't going to stop. My God, I'm rewatching this for the first time, and I cannot just... I was getting pretty good at that. And then for the spikes to take him down. I'm not the least bit surprised I decided to poke him to death. I was irritated with that cannibal, to be sure. Well done, Kelvin. Good show. On my way to deconstruct that old zipline platform I built, I came across a murder scene. I didn't do this. This was all Virginia. 3 cheers all around for the AI help in Sons of the Forest. I chose this rock outcropping as the site for my new zippy pole. I really did some intense logging. I'm going to be expanding my log holders, or I already did expand my log holders. And I was just thinking, with all of the cannibals that have been showing up, it's funny I haven't seen any mutants yet. And then this big dick boy shows up and nailed him with a spear. I was so pleased with myself. Too bad I hurt myself with my own spike wall. I had a clever idea. I don't know why I didn't try it before. I wondered if I could have the same effect with an arrow on the leg of a fingers as I did with an arrow as I did with spears. There, Jesus, got it out of my face. That was like pulling teeth out of a hyena. Yeah, that was cool. Thanks, Virginia. Top drawer. Yeah, the new update has really has made Virginia a lot closer. She stays closer. It's been lovely. It was also lovely to find that arrow shots to the legs on these guys did in fact hobble them. That's a game changer for me. I'm super excited. He's excited. Look at him jump. Big fella. Why don't you give you a big pat on the head? Another one. What a guy. It's nice too, because these fingers stand still for a second, so it's a lot easier to hit them in the leg than it is to hit a cannibal in the head. Super neat. Very exciting. I spontaneously decided, fuck these stick holders. If anybody was going to destroy them, it would be me, not the filthy, cannibalistic monsters that were the denizens of this foul island I now had the misfortune of inhabiting. Then I had a lot of fun pushing these sticks around. I don't know why it was so much fun, but it was delightful. It was like being in a big ball pool almost, but with sticks that could stab me. I attached that new zippy line to the small wall under my staircase there, and I'm adding some new log holders to hopefully collect any of the logs sent from that direction. So I'm setting up my infrastructure here now to collect logs from 2 different directions, and I'm doing that because I get easily distracted and bored, and sometimes I just need a change of location. Speaking of changing the view, I am going to end this video now. I think I started with 2.5 hours of footage, and I have gone longer than I intended. I got to rambling, and I like my ramblings. I think I feel like I'm saying something that future me will appreciate, or at least have a strong opinion about.